Did you know that only 23% of Americans live to see their 85th birthday? That means 77% die younger, most from causes that are completely preventable. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to uncover 6 silent but deadly mistakes that are quietly shaving years off the lives of older adults. And most importantly, I'll show you exactly how to avoid each one starting today. The truth is startling. Mistake number 4 alone has been linked to a loss of up to 8 years of life. And shockingly, nearly 9 out of 10 seniors are making this one mistake right now, without even realizing it. Last month, I met Helena, a vibrant 78-year-old retired teacher from Ohio. She thought she was doing everything right. She ate a clean diet, took her supplements daily, and even went for regular walks. But something felt off. Her energy was fading, her sleep was poor, and her doctor had recently flagged some troubling health markers. It wasn't until we took a closer look at her daily habits that we uncovered the real issue. Helena was unknowingly making 4 of the 6 critical health mistakes I'm about to share. 3 months later, after making a few simple changes, she feels like she's 10 years younger. Her lab results improved. Her energy returned. Her joy came back. But before we dive into all that, if you're new here, welcome to the channel. We're here to help you live healthier, feel better, and age vibrantly. Be sure to like this video, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a wellness tip that could change your life. And tell us in the comments, where are you watching from? We love hearing from viewers around the world. Let's start with mistake number 1, believing you're socially connected when you're actually isolated. This is one of the most underestimated health threats facing older adults today, and the most misunderstood. Many people confuse being around others with actually being emotionally connected. But here's the reality. A landmark study by Harvard Medical School, which tracked over 300,000 people for more than 7 years, found that social isolation increases your risk of premature death by 26%. That's higher than smoking 15 cigarettes a day. This isn't just about feeling lonely once in a while. It's about a deeper kind of isolation, the kind where your relationships lack emotional depth, shared understanding, and genuine support. It's about going through your days without real conversations, without anyone truly knowing what's going on in your heart or mind. Take Charlie, for example, a 74-year-old from Texas. He thought he was staying socially active by chatting briefly with the cashier at the supermarket and waving to his neighbor once a week. But aside from these short exchanges, he was going 6 days at a time without a single meaningful conversation. No laughter. No emotional check-ins. No connection. When Charlie started calling an old friend every Tuesday morning and joined a weekly senior book club, everything changed. His blood pressure normalized. His sleep improved. He smiled more. All in just 4 weeks. Why? Because your brain and body treat chronic loneliness as a survival threat. It floods your system with stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, which over time damage your heart, weaken your immune system, and even accelerate cognitive decline. Dr. Julianne Holt-Lunstad, the lead researcher in the Harvard study, explained it this way. True social connection means emotional reciprocity. It means regularly interacting with people who see you, hear you, and value you. It's not about quantity. It's about quality. So what's the fix? It's surprisingly simple, but it requires intention. Make one meaningful human connection every single day. This could be a 10-minute phone call with someone who knows your name and cares about your life. A walk with a friend who listens without judgment. Joining a local group where people expect to see you and notice when you're not there. The key is consistency and emotional depth. Don't settle for small talk. Aim for real talk, the kind that makes you feel seen, heard, and emotionally nourished. Because here's the bottom line. Superficial social interactions won't protect your health. Genuine relationships will. And your health, happiness, and longevity may depend on it. Mistake number 2. Thinking you're too old for medical screenings after 75. Have you ever thought, at my age, what's the point of more tests? If so, you're not alone. But this belief could be silently shortening your life. For decades, it was common for both patients and even healthcare providers to assume that medical screenings past age 75 offered little benefit. This belief stemmed from outdated medical assumptions, that older adults had shorter life expectancy and were less likely to benefit from early detection. But modern science has completely upended this thinking. In 2023, both the American Cancer Society and the CDC updated their guidelines, stating clearly that continuing certain screenings after age 75 can add an average of 4.2 healthy, active years to your life. So what changed? The seniors of today are not the same as they were 30 years ago. Most people in their late 70s and early 80s are living longer, more active lives, with 15 to 20 high-quality years still ahead. That means preventive care still matters. A lot. Take the case of Beverly, a retired nurse from Florida. She stopped scheduling mammograms after turning 77, thinking her risk for breast cancer had passed. But at 79, something urged her to book another screening. The doctors discovered early-stage cancer, completely treatable. Her oncologist later told her that had she waited even 2 more years, the outcome would have been drastically different. Dr. Michael Royan of the Cleveland Clinic emphasizes that cancers detected early in older adults respond just as well, if not better, to treatment than in younger patients. Why? Because seniors are more likely to follow their treatment plans consistently and tend to have fewer competing life stressors. For instance, the 5-year survival rate for early-stage colorectal cancer is 91%, regardless of age. And yet, many people stop getting colonoscopies at 75 based purely on their birthday, rather than their actual health status. This applies to more than just cancer. Regular cardiovascular screenings, skin cancer checks, and bone density tests are all crucial tools in preventing debilitating disease well into your 80s and beyond. The key is shifting from a mindset based on age to one based on individual health status and life expectancy. In other words, if you're likely to live another 10+ years, you're a prime candidate for continued screenings. So what should you do now? Talk to your doctor and build a personalized screening plan that considers your medical history, family background, lifestyle, and personal goals, not just your age. Don't wait. Schedule any overdue tests within the next 2 weeks. Remember, early detection saves lives, especially when you still have many vibrant years ahead to protect. Mistake number 3, only exercising when you feel like it. Think it's okay to skip workouts when you're tired or unmotivated. That mindset may be slowly eroding your long-term health, even if you're active sometimes. New research from the Mayo Clinic, published in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society, tracked over 15,000 older adults for 12 years. What they discovered may shock you. Seniors who exercised inconsistently had nearly the same risk for disease and premature death as those who didn't exercise at all. Why? Because longevity isn't fueled by occasional intensity. It's powered by daily consistency. Dr. Thomas Gill from Yale School of Medicine explains, when you move your body sporadically, it registers that activity as isolated stress, not as a signal to build strength, endurance, or cellular resilience. Your body never adapts. In contrast, even just 15 minutes of gentle movement every day can send the message that your body needs to stay strong, flexible, and youthful. That's when the magic happens. Your balance improves, heart rate lowers, sleep deepens, and energy stabilizes. Let's look at Maxwell, a 72-year-old from Arizona. He used to consider himself active because he played tennis twice a week. But on non-tennis days, he was mostly sedentary. After learning about the power of consistency, he committed to a 15-minute walk every morning before breakfast, rain or shine. 3 months later, his resting heart rate dropped by 12 beats per minute. His balance improved significantly. He had more stamina, better sleep, and clearer focus. And he didn't have to break a sweat or join a gym. Just 15 minutes of easy, reliable movement every single day. So what does this mean for you? Don't rely on motivation. Instead, build a routine so simple and easy that you can follow it on autopilot, even on days when your energy is low. Choose low-barrier activities like walking in place while watching TV, chair yoga or stretching during commercials, light resistance band exercises at home. It doesn't have to be fancy. It just has to be daily, because your muscles, heart, bones, and brain don't care about your intentions. They only respond to one thing: reliable signals of movement. That's how you trigger long-term biological change. So start today. Commit to just 15 minutes of movement every day for the next 7 days. Track how you feel. You'll be amazed at how quickly your body responds when it knows it can count on you to move. Mistake number 4. believing poor sleep is just part of getting older? Have you convinced yourself that tossing and turning at night, waking up too early, or feeling exhausted all day is simply part of aging? If so, you're unknowingly risking your long-term health and even cutting years off your life. A landmark study from the Johns Hopkins School of Medicine, which tracked over 25,000 adults aged 65 and older for 15 years, found a startling truth. Seniors who accept poor sleep as a normal part of aging have, on average, an 8-year shorter life expectancy than those who actively work to improve their sleep. Why is this so critical? According to lead researcher Dr. Adam Spira, chronic poor sleep accelerates cellular aging, weakens immune defenses, and dramatically increases the risk for heart disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, cognitive decline, and dementia. It's true that our sleep architecture naturally changes with age. We may spend less time in deep sleep and wake more frequently. But persistent poor quality sleep is never normal and absolutely not inevitable. More importantly, it's almost always reversible. In the same Johns Hopkins study, participants who implemented sleep hygiene improvements saw significant boosts in memory and cognitive clarity, immune system strength, cardiovascular health, emotional well-being, and the improvements happened within just 4 weeks. In fact, researchers concluded that, if forced to choose, improving sleep has a greater impact on longevity than diet or exercise alone. That's how powerful quality rest is for the aging body and brain. Just ask Jane from Michigan, who spent years waking up groggy, believing her fatigue was simply a side effect of aging. After learning about the impact of sleep on longevity, she made a few simple changes. Set a fixed bedtime and wake-up time. Removed electronic screens after 8 p.m. Made her bedroom completely dark and cool. Within 2 weeks, she was sleeping through the night and waking up refreshed, something she hadn't experienced in nearly a decade. Her energy, mood, and even digestion improved noticeably, to the point that her family asked if she was on a new supplement. She wasn't. She had simply started sleeping better. So what can you do tonight? Establish a consistent sleep schedule, even on weekends. Eliminate screen exposure, TV, phone, tablets, at least 1 hour before bed. Darken your bedroom completely using blackout curtains or an eye mask. Keep the room between 65 degrees Fahrenheit and 68 degrees Fahrenheit, 18 to 20 degrees Celsius, for optimal sleep temperature. Use white noise or calming music to reduce disruptions. Treat your sleep as seriously as you treat your medications or your diet, because every good night's sleep is a deposit in your longevity bank, restoring cells, balancing hormones, and giving your brain time to heal and organize. Mistake number 5, dismissing depression, anxiety, or memory loss as normal aging. Do you chalk up sadness, worry, or forgetfulness as just part of getting older? This is one of the most dangerous and widespread myths about aging, and it's causing millions of seniors to suffer needlessly from completely treatable mental health conditions. According to the National Institute of Mental Health, untreated depression and anxiety double the risk of early death in adults over 65. That's not just due to emotional distress. Mental health impacts physical health in very real ways, from lower immunity to increased risk of chronic illness, heart disease, and cognitive decline. A landmark study involving 45,000 seniors over 10 years confirmed that emotional challenges in later life are not an inevitable consequence of aging, but medical conditions that respond extremely well to treatment. And the results? Seniors who received appropriate mental health care lived an average of 6.3 years longer than those who suffered in silence. Dr. Dilip Jest, from the UC San Diego Center for Healthy Aging, highlights that the brain remains remarkably adaptable and responsive to treatment throughout life. In fact, older adults often benefit more quickly and more profoundly than younger adults because they are more consistent with treatment, more self-aware, and often more motivated to improve their quality of life. In that same study, 89% of seniors who engaged in therapy, medication, or a combination of both showed major improvements within 3 months. Many reported feeling happier, more energized, and more interested in life than they had in years. Consider the story of Gerald from Nevada, a retired teacher who quietly gave up hobbies he once loved, like fishing and reading, because of low mood and mental fog. His daughter convinced him to try counseling. Within 6 weeks of working with a therapist experienced in senior care, Gerald rediscovered his old passions. His sleep improved, his appetite returned, and his overall health rebounded. Why? Because his emotional health was finally being treated as seriously as his physical health. So how can you take action? Use the PHQ-2, a free 2-question depression screening tool available online or at your doctor's office. It takes less than a minute. If your score is elevated, don't ignore it. Speak with your primary care physician or a geriatric mental health specialist. Explore options. Therapy, support groups, medication, or lifestyle changes can all help, often faster than you think. The message is clear. Mental health issues are not character flaws or signs of weakness. They're biological imbalances that are just as treatable in seniors as they are in younger adults. And treating them not only adds years to your life, but adds life to your years. Mistake number 6. Thinking good enough is enough when it comes to chronic conditions. Do you believe that simply managing your chronic conditions is sufficient? You might want to think again. A landmark study by the American Heart Association that followed over 180,000 seniors revealed something shocking. Seniors who optimized their chronic disease management, not just managed it, lived 5 to 15 years longer on average. That's not just a few more birthdays. That's potentially an entire extra decade of independence, vitality, and time with loved ones. So what's the real difference between good enough and optimal? It's the compounding power of small, consistent improvements. Day to day, the difference between a blood pressure reading of 120/80 versus 114/70 may seem minor. But over a 10-year span, that tighter control lowers your risk of a heart attack by 27% and your risk of stroke by 36%. Dr. Paul Muttner from the University of Alabama, who led the research, explained that many patients, and even their doctors, become complacent once readings are acceptable. But aiming for target levels, not just tolerable ones, can mean the difference between spending your 80s walking your grandkids to school or visiting the ER. Take Nancy from Georgia. She had type 2 diabetes for years and kept her A1C within range, but still felt fatigued and experienced blurred vision. After partnering closely with her doctor, tracking her blood sugar daily, and adjusting her diet and medication to meet optimal glucose targets, she saw remarkable improvements within 6 months. Her energy soared, her vision stabilized, and her risk of diabetic complications dropped by over 40%. This shift from passive management to active optimization is what transforms lives. Here's how you can take control. Track your key health metrics daily: blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, and weight. Know your optimal target ranges, not just the acceptable limits. Use a notebook, spreadsheet, or health tracking app to stay organized. Review your numbers with your doctor every 3 months and ask, how can I do better? Because here's the truth. Good enough isn't good enough when it comes to preserving your independence, energy, and life expectancy. Optimizing chronic condition management isn't just about avoiding disease. It's about thriving in your later years. Millions of seniors are silently making this mistake today. But the good news is that it's entirely reversible. You can start right now. Just like Helena, who used to make 4 of these 6 mistakes. Now, at 78, she's living a vibrant, independent life she never imagined possible. And you can too. Which of these 6 mistakes shocked you the most? Drop your answer in the comments. Your story could inspire and protect another senior. If this message opened your eyes, click that like button and share this video with someone over 60 who deserves to live not just longer, but better. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on more life-extending, health-transforming tips tailored for you and your loved ones. Your best years can still be ahead, but only if you take action now. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.